All right, everybody, welcome to the CS6 Demo Day. Who's excited to be here? I'm excited to be here. These are some awesome projects. We're gonna go through and have a bunch of demos. We'll do some brief Q&A with the students that built these projects after every single demo. Let's try to keep questions in the Zoom chat so that we're not bouncing all over Slack trying to find question and comments. So yeah, I just want to take a second and talk a little bit about CS6 and what they've been doing. So we have 6 projects to demo today. CS6 has been working in Lambda Labs for, they worked on these projects for 3 weeks. Pretty tight deadline. They showed up. I split them into teams. I gave them wireframes and a Trello board for what their project should be, and they cranked it out for 3 weeks. And we're going to watch the demos that they produced at the end of that. I'm really proud and impressed of what they were able to accomplish over just such a short period of time. So we also have 2 groups of retired project managers that have been working alongside the students in CS6 on labs projects. So I kept the project managers in their own groups because I didn't want them, mingling with the students. But they've also produced a couple of projects working like nights and weekends while they were serving as PMs for the CS8 class. So we're going to watch their demos as well. And then we will go probably about an hour. So buckle up. These are some pretty awesome projects. Up first is Numberless.
Hi, everybody. A lot of us are looking for a way to make the world a little bit brighter. Giving to a charitable cause can be a great way to make that happen. Whether you give a little or give a lot, every little bit helps. But there are a lot of charities out there, and trying to choose between them all can be tough. There are also a lot of smaller charities out there that might go unnoticed, and we want to make sure that everyone is getting what they need. How do you choose between them all? That's where we come in. Welcome to Numberless. Numberless is a charitable app designed to make donation easier and a little bit more fun. Let's see how it works. When a user gets to Numberless, the first thing they see is the loading page. There, an existing user can log in, or new users can choose to donate or learn more. Let's take a look at that option. When a user is invited, they choose a monthly subscription, either $10, $25, or $50. Each month, 2 charities are chosen, and the user votes on which charity they want their donation to go towards. The charity with the most votes gets 75% of the donation pool, while the other gets 25%, so no charity goes home empty-handed. In the event of an emergency, Numberless will send an alert asking if the funds for that month can be used to respond to the incident, and charitable giving will resume the following month. Funds grow with every monthly pledge, and Numberless is ready to give with no delay. Sounds good, right? Let's make a pledge. We'll choose $25 for our pledge. So a new user signs up. All payments are processed through Stripe, so the payments are secure. And after a brief delay while Stripe processes, users are brought to the voting page, and now the user's created. At the voting page, they can choose to see details about the specific charity they'd like to vote for. From there, they can either close the window or select the charity to vote. Once the charity is voted, the user is thanked for their donation. And there we have it. Thanks for watching.
All right. Numberless. That's a cool project, huh? Anybody have any questions for the Numberless team? Oh, Nando says that's a pretty sick app. I agree with you, Nando. It's going to go quick if we don't have any Q&A. It looked to me like it was on mobile. Austin says, is that React Native or mobile web? Where's Justin at? Justin.
Yes, that was all mobile web. So it's designed mobile first, so everything was just scaled down to mobile size, but it is responsive up to full size as well.
Cool. Who did the front-end design? The landing page looks slick. I can take that one, Mitchell. This project came to us from an outside partner, friends of Josh Nell, brought in the designs. What did you use for your infographics is a question Thomas Dillard has. And then Boomer wants to know what the most difficult part of putting the project together. And Chris Atoki wants to know if you use Stripe elements. Justin, you got a bunch of questions in here, man.
Yeah, yep, it was all React Stripe elements. Well, the credit card input was a React Stripe element. We decided to go with that as the single line, just because it looked a little slicker than the individual broken out card number, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we chose to go with that one just because I like the look of it. Hardest part, I would say, was probably, I don't know, it was a lot of front end stuff. Hardest part was probably honestly the React or the Stripe integration. It's a lot of back and forth with Stripe's API. So just figuring out that process for getting the token, getting the customer, getting the subscription, and getting that all saved was probably the most complicated part for me. I don't know, other members of my group could certainly chime in as well. As far as the infographic, that was again part of the, we were given the PNG files for the overlays for the graphic. That was part of the design files. So let's see. There are a lot of questions. No, if a user logs in, they don't have to put their card info again. No, Stripe API integration was part of the project itself.
That was a requirement from me.
Yep, exactly. We were given very strict instructions, and Holdy would not take any other option as an answer. Let's see. Is that it? I think that's all we got.
There's one more question from Tiffany about, does it break down how much each charity actually spends helping people, like Salvation Army does more than Goodwill?
That would be something down the, I mean, my guess would be this is more designed, I mean, Holdy, you could probably speak to this more than me, but my guess would be this is probably, would probably design more for charities that fly under the radar as opposed to, you know, big charities like Salvation. I mean, anybody I'm sure would be welcome, but I'm sure it's less designed for big companies like Salvation Army, Goodwill, things like that, and more for smaller charities. But that would probably be up to the, based off the info we were given, that would probably be up to the charity to place in their description when they signed up for the service, to kind of give that information to the user. So yeah, being that it's not live, we don't have any data as far as the you know, contributions and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, as far as if it's a breakdown as far as how much each charity got, you know, that could be something that was implemented once it actually went live.
Yeah, we're not interested in like doing accounting, Tiffany, to break down like tracking the paper once the charity gets it. We would assume people that were using the app could do their own research and figure that kind of thing out. Jonathan wants to know, why is it the best? Why is Stripe the best, Jonathan? I assume that's your question. Stripe, so I've integrated with a bunch of different payment gateways in my career, Stripe, Braintree, First Data, a couple others. And Stripe is by far the most clearly documented and like well-designed payment API that I've ever seen or used. And I would say like pretty much probably the most well-documented API on the internet, full stop. Also, Lambda School has a relationship with Stripe, and they're friends of ours. So I want to make sure that all student projects have like a consistent payment experience, and that way, you know, we can keep all that in the same place. So Stripe was the choice, and that's a requirement on every labs project. Edward wants to know how many people worked on the project. Justin, how many were on your team? 3 or 4?
3.
3. 3 people on the project. Jonathan, yeah, you should apply for Stripe. That would be a great job for you.
Yeah. So we have a very, very close relationship with Stripe, which will become closer soon, but we're working on big stuff with Stripe. So I can't talk about it yet. Just know that that's coming.
Yeah. But, I mean, we can all agree that we just like them. They're nice guys, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the best payments API. Regardless.
Definitely. I mean, there are cheaper ones, but, like, not by much. And the pain of integrating something cheaper like First Data is much, much higher than just using Stripe, which is like drag and drop, really well documented. Has code snippets for pretty much every language you could think of, and it's just awesome. So no more talk about Stripe. Let's move on to the next project. One more round of applause for the Numberless team. I mean, my goodness, didn't that project look great? It was awesome. We had some questions about React Native earlier. So we're going to jump into the Time Tracker app right now and watch that demo. So Troy, get ready for some questions, man. And Jacob too, if you're here.
Introducing Time Tracker, the best way to get paid for all of your hourly work, whether you're a freelancer and just working in an hourly position, getting paid through invoicing, and working no matter where you are with mobile applications for both iOS and Android. So when you log in, you're going to be able to see a list of all your clients if you're working as a freelancer, or all the people that are working for you if you're a client. So we'll be able to see everyone that is working for us. We'll be able to go in here. We can start a timer. We'll be able to invoice any of these timers by adding click to invoice. Show you a little bit more on that later. See all the comments that we've left. So in this one, we have some comments to be able to edit. So this one, let's say that I needed to just generate a new time voice. So I add 2 hours, edit something here, working on the dashboard. Dashboard. I hit submit. That's going to add those changes. Then push me back here, and I'll be able to see that exact editing that I did. So we can go in and add a few to this invoice to show you how to get paid. So you come in here, add any of these timestamps that you want to get invoiced. So let's say those few are good. Click on new invoice, and it's going to show you a list of all the dates and the times that you have. So if you're splitting that up pretty well throughout the day, in between breaks, you can do that. So you just see your total time, add in your hourly rate, generate an invoice, and that will download an invoice for you here at the bottom. So we can see our total, the date that we generated the invoice, and who it's for. So we click on open invoice, and there you're able to download an invoice and just make sure everything's great before sending it off to your client. Next, we'll be able to click on this invoice, and that'll show you all of your invoices as well. If we need to add a new client, we can just come in and add their email address. So let's say this Troy Williams, click that, and he'll be added into our client list as well, so you can start tracking time. If we want to change maybe our email or password, that can all be done from right here as well. Now, I did say that there is a mobile solution for both iOS and Android, and it works on all the same data, so everything can stay consistent. So if we click on Fake Troy here, we'll be able to see all of the timestamps that we've logged for him, be able to see if there's an active timer, and it does look like there is. We can stop that timer just the same as we would from the web, and that's going to update both of those at the same time. So Time Tracker, the best way to log your hours, get paid, and make sure that you're staying connected to wherever you are.
All right, Time Tracker. Let's have a round of applause for those guys. When I first watched this demo, I felt that was a very Steve Jobs one more thing at the last second where Troy showed that little React Native screen. So let's hop in and see. Anybody have any questions for the Time Tracker team, Troy and Jacob?
Looks like Austin asked if we built both of these in 3 weeks. And yep, it was kind of nice to have Memorial Day weekend in the middle there. So over that, I was able to put together basically just a really simple skeleton. And if you saw the video before, it looked really nothing like the final product for the React Native side. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to dig into that because there are some interesting differences with React Native and React.
Bunch of wow, that's awesomes. Bunch of wow, that's awesomes. Austin wants to know what you use for PDF generation. Oh, and that seems to be asked. There's some upvotes there.
Yeah, so for the invoices themselves, we are using an API called invoice.com. And it's a really simple and straightforward invoice. You basically send it all the information you want, and it'll generate an invoice sent back. Now, it's not as customizable as I would have liked, but worked around it. And it saves into your file system, which I had a bunch of issues trying to serve the files, the PDFs back to the front end. But just then went with a Cloudinary, which is kind of like S3. Just I'd used Cloudinary before. I knew I could get it up in just 10 or so minutes. And so those are being stored there so that they can be referenced whenever.
Brandon wants to know what what software you use to view debug the mobile app on desktop, and then Naley wants to know the top challenges the team faced, and Edward wants to know if you use Bootstrap style components.
Let's do the mobile one first. So I was using the Create React app or Create React Native app to bootstrap it, and then I have Xcode, so I can use the iPhone simulator on my computer, and I also have an Android simulator as well, just to make sure that both are working. Jacob, do you want to take the styling questions and the style components?
Yeah, so we use React Strap mainly, and then we also use style components, and then we just added random inline styling as well. Our challenges, invoicing. Troy mainly did that on his own, but it was over like 2 or 3 days with a weekend between. And then we also had some issues with Moment, with timestamp formatting and converting and organizing, that kind of stuff.
You guys discovered one of the 3 main challenges in computer science, dealing with time.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, that's a real challenge. It kind of sucks, actually, in a lot of cases. I think some of the gnarliest bugs I've ever had to work on in my career have been time related. So good job for you guys getting that practice in. And this application is awesome. Really well done. Great job. Oh, there's one last question here. Let's get to that one. If you had to do it again, what would you change in terms of implementation and planning? And why don't you both give me an answer to that one, Troy and Jacob?
I would
Go
say,
ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, I would say using a relational database instead of Mongo, because it makes more sense with the way our data is structured.
That was going to be my answer too, because so you sign in as like a vendor, and then you have some clients, and then each timestamp has a relationship to both of those entities, and then it has the timestamp itself might have a relationship to the invoice, and that invoice is going to go back to the timestamps and those clients. So everything's super related, but we just chose to go with Mongo. Good thing that Populate is an option on Mongo.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have been workable at all.
Yeah. I hope that there are some students for some future cohorts that are taking notes and thinking about that question. A lot of times when you're choosing technology for a project, it can be really tempting to choose what you're most comfortable with, even if it's not the right tool for the job. So, in a month or 2 or 3 or whenever y'all make it to Lambda Labs, I do allow the teams the freedom to choose their own tech stack in most cases. Be sure that you think critically about the tools that you use before you start the project. It can make your life much easier. That's really great advice. Okay, let's hop into the next demo. This one is called Pick Me. This is a fun one too.
Meet Pick Me, the new and revolutionary way of finding the best photos of you. Here's how it works. Let's say we're signing in as Anna. If we go over to the Pick Me tab, we'll see all of these pictures that others have uploaded of Anna and their other nicknames. Let's say we want to click this one and claim this. We'll see we have no credits. So let's go over to the credits page and let's just purchase 15 credits for us. And if it goes through, we'll be taken back. And let's claim this picture. And why don't we just claim this one as well? If we go over to My Collection, we'll see that we have these two pictures now, and we can download them or set them as a background, do whatever we want with them. And if we go to the other account that uploaded these pictures, you'll see that we already have some credits from our upload. We'll go to My Uploads. We'll see this picture of Anna and this picture of Anna. And if we add another one, or if we claim one more, maybe this one, and we refresh this page, we'll see that now we have 6 credits because Anna claimed these pictures. And let's say Anna forgot that she has another cat named Cheese. Let's go back to our Pick Me, and now we'll see these 2 pictures of Cheese that we can also claim now. And if we go to My Collections, you'll see that these other pictures are still here, as well as our new one. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you are able to find the best pictures of yourself using Pick Me.
Hey, all right, Pick Me. We have some members of the Pick Me team nearby. Samuel, are you around? Everybody else, Ellie, Julian?
Yes, I am here.
Great.
Yep.
Jonathan, okay, great. We got a bunch of people. So Jonathan's confused about the use case. The use case, Jonathan, is that a lot of times when you take pictures of people at events and stuff, you tend to upload to the internet the pictures of yourself that look good, and you might have dozens, hundreds, thousands of pictures of other people on your phone or in your devices that other people might like to have access to. So this is a incentivized marketplace to get you to upload those pictures and get pictures that other people may have taken of you. Thomas Dillard said, is it user-generated for images, or is there data gathering for personal accounts? It's all uploaded images. Integration with some social accounts would have been a really good idea, and I should have thought of that while I was planning the project. Neely wants to know if watermarks are utilized, and that would have been a good idea too. Yeah, of course you can screen grab easily. Neely wants to know the most difficult challenges. Julian, why don't you take that one?
Sure, probably to echo the prior groups, what they said, the database, because we definitely fell into that trap of just going with what we were comfortable with and what we thought we would be like most efficient like working with. And like in hindsight, the good thing with Mongo, and Mongo says you can like massage the data a lot, because we definitely needed to do that because yeah, a lot of changes needed to be made and just, yeah, the shape of the data, like, so that's the benefit of it, is it's very flexible. But had we gone with a relational data model, it would have just forced us to be more strict, and we would have been able to see those issues like in like more of the planning phase rather than already having code out there. But yeah, other than that, it was, that's all I've got on my end.
Samuel, you want to add anything to that database stuff?
I think for most difficult, yeah, definitely the database. It's definitely doable with Mongo. I mean, the reason why, well, yeah, it's definitely doable. I think personally for me, the most difficult thing was kind of connecting the back end with the front end as well as the database. Just kind of because we kind of specialize. Like I was specializing on the back end and kind of like you can see like connecting the code, I guess, because if you're doing it by yourself, you kind of know how everything's set up, but definitely took a lot of communicating with the team in order to overcome that. But that was initially kind of a difficult for me.
All right. Mongo getting no love today. Yeah. All right. Our next demo is by a group of retired PMs. This is going to be Sarah Fritz, Chris Atoki, a couple other people in your group. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head. Who else was in there? Oh yeah, Mohammed and Steve. All right, let's go ahead and watch this one. All right. Whoa, a whole bunch of comments. Sarah, Chris, you guys around? Video's awesome. Yeah, I can't believe you guys spent all that time filming all that stock image.
Hi. Yeah, it was really fun to do.
That's all Sarah. That's none of me.
I can look at questions, I guess.
Jonathan wants to know, there's a lot of apps that help you do this kind of stuff. Yeah, man, there's a lot of apps that do a lot of kinds of stuff. This is a useful thing to have done. Austin's throwing some shade. They didn't write any code. How much code did you guys write?
A lot.
Yeah.
Insane, more than I ever have before.
Yeah, we're working on deploying all these projects to production, and then that should happen over the next couple of days. And then I will go back and drop a link in general of all the deployed Capstone Labs projects we've had up until this point. So Neil, you can go click around on all of them. A couple of days. That'll be next week sometime. Yeah, Chris and Sarah. Pretty dope project. No questions for these guys? Just a whole bunch of, wow, that's awesome. I guess that's more fun than taking questions. Austin wants to know if you use Twilio for SMS. And Boomer wants to know your stack. Sarah, what do you use for your SMS integration, and what's your tech stack?
Twilio. So I think you were in CS8, remember me doing a brown bag with Firebase. We started with that as our skeleton, switched a whole bunch of stuff around. It was really fun.
Justin Boric has a question. I have a general question for all presenters. Why are you all so excellent and highly employable? Easy answer to that question.
Lambda.
That's right. Boom. XPM are so OP. Yeah, nerf, please. How does it work again? Video didn't convey much interaction. Chris, why don't you walk us through how your app works for Jonathan?
Sure. So actually, like, the steps to go through, the process and everything.
Well, hold on. We got to talk about your fire modeling picture on your what is that?
Well, what I can't show
is this the cover of your mixtape, Chris?
How do you know? Yes, I am art, 100%. But so what do you want to know about our app? Like,
so just like walk us through. Business owner wants more reviews for their website. They stumble across your thing on Google. What are the steps?
Yep. So first thing you do is you can create a nice little login for your business or for yourself, especially if you're self-employed, because you can do the same thing. Then the first thing it takes you to after you log in is it goes straight to the settings page. We already give you a boilerplate little message to send out to your customers. It just says, hey, this is whatever your manager name that you put in from whatever your business name is, and put in the link. You can put in Google, Yelp, whatever it'll be to send you right over to your review site. And then you can go to the invite page, and on your invite page, you can put in your customer first name, last name, and the phone number, press send, and you're done. Then watch the reviews come in on the stats page. That's it.
Nice. Seems pretty straightforward. Justin wants to know if I don't have a painting of yourself. No, but I need to get Chris's guy's number because I got a mixtape that I need some art for too.
Yeah,
Chris, let's sync up on that.
His number is Snapchat.
Oh man! All right, so we got one more demo video. Clara, you close by? Franz? Everybody, we're gonna do Space Race. Space Race.
Hi, we're Space Race, a classroom tool that makes it fun and easy to participate. As you can see from our landing page, it's pretty simple. We have a carousel with various screenshots of our application. We also have a sign up now for new users, and for users who already have an account, they can simply sign in and they'll be redirected to the dashboard. The dashboard has a few options on the left-hand side. There's the logout option, the settings page, the scoreboard page where the race will actually run, and the create race page that we're currently on. So let's go ahead and create a race called Lambda School. We're going to add 2 teams, the Beehive, and we're going to pick a mascot and a color. We're going to add another team, pick a mascot, a color, add. So the 2 teams are shown below, and there's also a randomized team option. This just means the students will not get a chance to pick their own teams, but they'll be rather placing teams randomly. So for now, we're going to turn this off and go to next. And let's add a couple questions. The first, how many days are in a week? We're going to add the correct answer, toggle correct, add answer. Let's add a few wrong answers. All right, and these are our answers, and there's a shuffle answer option, which simply shuffles the answer for the students. If this is turned off, the students will receive the answers in this exact same order. So let's shuffle the answers for now. Let's add one more question. So these are questions, and the answer for each question is also shown. So let's go ahead and start the race. All right, and once you start the race, you'll get a link where students can join the race and teachers can simply continue to race. So let's join the race as a student. All right, and students can join the race by entering their name, picking their team, and clicking join race. All right, and we can continue to race as a teacher. All right, so as what we see is on the teacher side, it tells us how many questions there are. So this is question 1 of 2. Shows us the question, the answers. There's a show answer toggle. There's a next question button. And there's this progress bar that lets us know how many students have responded to this question. Currently, no one has responded to this question. Let's move this a little more over. All right, and on the student side, we see the 2 teams on top. Since we chose to be part of the Beehive team, we see these 2 flags near our team name. There's also the question board where we have the question, the answers, a submit button, and also tells us how many questions there are. So this is question 1 of 2. So let's answer this question correctly, submit. And as you see for the student side of things, we answered this question correct, so the team score went up for Beehive. And on the teacher side of things, the progress bar has gone all the way up to a 100% because there's only 1 student taking this quiz. All right, so there's also a show answer. When teachers are ready to show the answer, they can simply click on the show answer button, which highlights the right answer. It's a toggle so they can turn it on and off as they feel. And let's go to the next question. As you see, the next question was loaded, and the answers were also loaded on the teacher's side, and the progress bar will reset to show that no one has responded to this question. On the student side of things, again, they get the new question and the score shows as it is. So let's answer this question actually incorrectly to see what happens. So submit. So as you see, the student score did not go up since they answered this question incorrectly. Their team don't get a point. But for the teacher side of things, there was still a response. So the teacher gets to see that the student responded and there's 100% participation. Again, they can show the answer as if they feel it. And simply once they're done, they can click finish race. And it shows the final score for this race. And that is Space Race, a classroom tool that makes it fun and easy to participate.
Space Race! This is a really fun project. All right. Yeah, Austin, real time. We got some WebSockets going on. Clara was doing the voiceover, some MVPs. Talk about sockets. All right, who's here from Space Race and wants to talk about sockets? Clara, Franz, Leaf?
I guess I can talk about it.
All right.
All right, so our project was built using Django in the back end, Postgres as the database, and React Redux in the front end. So part of Django, there's something called Django channels that we use for the WebSockets. And once the student joins the race, the WebSocket's open for the student. And when a teacher goes to, to run the actual race, the WebSocket's also open for them. And it's sort of like, the best way to think of it sort of like a chat room. When you're sending a message, someone else is receiving it. So it's the same type of thing. We're just changing the information in the database and it's being updated real time.
I think this might be our first ever Django capstone project. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you built a Django capstone project, please drop it in the chat. But I think this is the first one we've ever had. It's not the first ever Procky using sockets. The last time we had the House Cup team use sockets too for their scoreboard. This would be a fun Geeks Who Drink-esque game. It's a great use case. Maybe we could sell them a license. Alan wants to know if you're using Prisma and GraphQL to pull from Postgres. Oh, that's a really interesting question. Somebody from the Space Race team, let's talk about that. Prisma and GraphQL, or are you guys writing queries on your own?
No, we're writing queries on our own, and part of Django channels, he has something called Daphne that helps sort of facilitate that for us.
Yeah. Bailey says you guys are ballers, and I could not agree more. Austin wants to know why you chose Django. That's a good question.
There was a vote and Django won, but we knew we would need a relational database because of the way the quiz is set up. And so we knew it'd either be MySQL or Postgres on the back end. And ultimately the team, we just voted for Django because it gave us the API that we knew we'd use eventually.
Yeah, I think it was a great decision. I think it was super appropriate for this and obviously it worked out really well. Oh man, now we got a bunch of comments about Rails. Oh, where's Caleb? Sounds like we need to revise the curriculum again. Just kidding. Although one of these days, somebody's going to build a labs project in Rails, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm probably going to die of happiness. All right. Well,
It's definitely going to be Alan. Alan will 100% write a project in Rails.
Alan, what cohort are you in, man? Oh, CS11. That's like months away. I guess that'll be a good Christmas present, though. So
We should have an esoteric stack challenge where if somebody wants an extra challenge, they have to use a stack they've never touched before.
Oh yeah, bonus.
Apple, yes.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be fun. I'm sure somebody will build one before Christmas, but Alan, you can definitely build a Rails app. We'll get somebody building an Elixir Phoenix app too. Only cool outside stacks though. We're not going to do any like .NET or Laravel or anything. Ooh, Holy picking fights. Closure is fair game. Go for it. All right. Well, that's all the projects for CS6 Demo Day. Aren't they amazing? Let's drop like some clap emojis and some Slack channels all over the place, and really congratulate these students. I mean, 3 weeks is a incredibly aggressive timeline, and I'm seriously blown away at how awesome these projects were. And I think, they speak for themselves. Obviously, they really speak to the quality of the students that came through and all their hard work and dedication. Way impressive. So CS7, if you guys are around, no pressure, but you got to do better than this because you've got more time. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Really appreciate it. It's been fun to work with you, CS6, and we're going to continue with your graduations today. But everybody else, send your well wishes over to them. They've obviously worked really hard and have done a tremendous job. All right. Good meeting.